Contrary to popular opinion, bankruptcy is actually not that bad. It's a fresh start, it's a way out. Typically, the people who are my clients are very stressed out. They could be now, because of financial issues, be going through a divorce or already divorced. Had a client actually die on me last month. The stress was just too much for him. It's a way to get rid of any deficiency judgments. You've heard about deficiency judgments earlier. This wipes them out. It's a way to get rid of stress. It's a way to get rid of the harassing phone calls. And there's two different kinds of bankruptcy in the consumer context that you need to be aware of. There's a Chapter 7, which is an individual liquidation. When I say individual, it can be husband and wife. You have to be legally married. Or there's a Chapter 13, which is an individual reorganization. You can be late in your mortgage payments. The bank doesn't have to agree to it, but through a Chapter 13 plan, which is paying all of your disposable income over a 3 to 5 year period, you actually come current in the arrearages, but of course after you file, you have to have your mortgage payments current. It's called your post-petition payments. In a Chapter 7, that doesn't mean, that's the individual liquidation, it doesn't mean that you lose your house. You have a choice. It's called an election under Florida statutes. You can choose, do I want to keep my house or do I want to let my house go? Now, if you do choose to keep your house, you're going to have to pay the liens on your house. You're going to have to make your mortgage payments, any home equity line payments, second mortgages, taxes, that type of thing. But what it does do is it wipes out your unsecured debt. And if anybody is even thinking about cashing in their 401k to get their mortgage current, don't do it. Or charging on your credit cards to try to get your mortgage current, don't do it. You're getting out of the frying pan into the fire. What you obtain in either a Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 is called a discharge. The debt is still there, but you are not legally liable to pay it. It gets it behind you. And I look at myfico.com. That FICO score is the one that determines your credit score. They have a new section there on education. And you will learn that it's a snapshot. It's not a motion picture. What I'm having now is a lot of people who used to be or who are in the real estate business or mortgage people now are coming in saying, look, I want this to end. I want it to bottom out so I can get a fresh start, so I can start building up my credit. Just because you have filed a bankruptcy doesn't mean that you can never buy a house again. Doesn't mean you can't buy cars. Just means initially you're going to have to pay more for it, and as more time goes by, it will matter less and less. Like I tell my clients, bankruptcy is basically a pothole in the road of life. It's a way to learn from your experience, to get through it, and to move on. And it does relieve lots of stress. There's also a website, if you have further questions, you might want to look up. It's www.usdoj, which stands for United States Department of Justice, .gov, and /UST, which stands for the U.S. Trustee's Office. They have a lot of helpful information on that site. And if anybody has questions, I'll be happy to answer questions after this is done. And it's not that bad.